think about what it's like to be a parent, and I mean, to me, that's been the most fearful experiences that I've had. But I recognize that, first of all, I don't have an option. I'm a dad, and I'll be a dad for a long time. All I could do is my best. So I can't do anything about failing. And by the way, I fail every single day. I say something stupid, I overreact, disorganized, whatever, right? Whatever the thing is, I fail every day. Now, within those failures, I like to think there's a lot of successes too. Now, I like to think that, we'll see. And I want to have a really short and sweet conversation with you today. I have had numerous instances in my life very recently, people having conversations with me and having such a prevalent experience of them being stuck where they are because of their fear of failure. And I thought maybe that this was something people grow out of. Maybe this is really a teenager thing and, they kind of come into their own eventually. But no. The fear of failure knows no bounds when it comes to age. And I can't really go into too many specifics of the people and the interactions I've had recently, but it's just so prevalent. People are so scared of failing or making a mistake or being, bad or like whatever they're going to define it as. And I want to really unpack this for a few minutes here with you today, because when it comes to teens, that is probably the height of this situation. I think teenagers eventually will work through that and then develop some confidence and develop the principles of understanding that the fear of failure is your brain's subconscious game that it plays with you to keep you safe. Because when we think about the brain, it's very prehistoric. And when you really think about it, it really is, right? That software has not been upgraded for many hundreds of thousands of years. It really is the same thing. And we're thinking about the same things that we've dealt with maybe, 1,000 years ago. 1,000 years ago is like 5 seconds ago in the span of the Homo sapien. I mean, it really is like nothing, right? And what were we worried about then? We were worried about three things. We were worried about procreation, keeping the species alive. We were worried about food, and we were worried about staying alive. That's it. And within food, there's like shelter and stuff like that. But when we heard a stick break in the woods, we were scared because it was probably something that was going to eat us. So our brains thought of ways to protect ourselves. But we don't have any more lions in the woods. We're done. We live in a civilized, let me stop there. We live in a society that we don't have to worry about being eaten by a leopard. We have to worry about things that are not life-threatening, but our brain tells us that they are. So that's why people have certain things like stage fright. That's why people worry about certain things. And that's why people worry about failing, because they think it's a life and death situation, but it's not. Because let's really unpack it. There's a few things that are going to happen. Okay, the new school year is coming up fast, and that means a whole bunch of new freshmen are coming into your building. My question to you is, how are you going to set the tone? What will your freshman orientation look like? I still have some availability left to present my program at your school for freshman orientations. So if you're interested, just head over to kevinmckella.com. Click book a call, where you'll be able to set up a quick discovery call with me to find out a little bit more about my program and how it'll fit into your freshman orientation and how I can better serve your students and set the tone for the 24-25 school year. I want to use an example here. Let's think of an example. Let's say we're going to, let's just real easy example for your teen. Let's think about going out and trying out and auditioning for a spring musical. Okay. There's definitely some failure there. Okay. So first of all, this fear is coupled with a couple other things too, because now you're also going to have that failure kind of right in your face, possibly, right? If someone is even somewhat emotionally intelligent and they do somewhat of a poor job, they're going to see it on those judges or teachers' faces. They're going to be able to see, and if they're good teachers and directors, they're going to hide it very well. But still, that's kind of the thought process there. But either way, we're scared of failing. What if I audition and I don't get the part? I don't even get accepted. I don't think I could take that kind of rejection. All right, let's think about it. Number one, you can't know unless you try it. You can't figure it out, and you can't experience it and figure out whether or not you're going to fail or not unless you just try it. You can't know if you're going to be a good father unless you have a baby. You can't know if you're going to get that job unless you apply. So you have to kind of jump in, and then you'll be able to experience whether or not you fail or not, or succeed. But worrying about failing and then staying stuck and not doing anything about it kind of gets me really frustrated, because it's like, I don't want to hear it. You didn't even fail yet and you're worried about it. You're worried about something that didn't even happen yet. I don't understand that. You're okay. You're fine. Secondly, when you think about this fear of failure, a lot of people, the reason why they get stuck is because they have this paralysis by analysis. They're thinking about it. They're making pros and cons lists. They're deciding, how do we do, and listen, there is all good things for being organized and concise about your decision making, but you have to also put a pin in the ground, or a stake in the ground. There you go. And you have to decide when you're done. Okay, so you make your pros and cons list, you weigh the options, and then you either do it or you stop worrying about it. You either audition for the musical or you don't. And that's it. And you can't live with that regret. Oh man, I should have tried out for varsity because, senior year, we would have took state, man. If I was on the team, that story is so sad. You have to do it. You have to, make your, like I said, weigh your options and go for it. Okay. Number 3, if you fail, in my opinion, that's a good thing. That's a really, really good thing, because you've learned more about yourself. First of all, you've experienced what it's like to be courageous, which is not the lack of fear, it's having fear and doing the thing anyway. So you've experienced what it feels like to be courageous, number 1. Number 2, you've learned your skill set. Okay, I'm not that good of a singer. I need to really work at my vocal abilities. I'm a decent actor, and boy, can I dance, but right, I'm just a terrible singer. I think that was probably in reverse for me. But you know your skill set now, and now you kind of know what to work on. Plus, if you're trying to figure out what will happen in the future, there's no time machine. You just have to move forward and take the step. You just have to do it. And 9 times out of 10, these things that we're worried about are not actually life-threatening. We're speaking about fatherhood. If we think about, or motherhood for that matter, if we think about what it's like to be a parent, and I mean, to me, that's been the most fearful experiences that I've had. But I recognize that, first of all, I don't have an option. I'm a dad, and I'll be a dad for a long time. And all I could do is my best. So I can't do anything about failing. And by the way, I fail every single day. I say something stupid. I overreact. I am, disorganized, whatever, right? Whatever the thing is, I fail every day. Now, within those failures, I like to think there's a lot of successes too. Now, I like to think that, we'll see. But that is part of it too, is that I think you're looking at this failure as a finite thing. It's like, no, you could try again next year. You can try out for the team the year after. You can reapply for that internship the next summer, whatever it may be. It doesn't mean that you are a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're a bad student. It doesn't mean that you're a bad parent. It just means that you failed at this one thing. On to the next. There's an amazing exercise from Tim Ferriss called the fear setting exercise. And if you find yourself, or your teen find yourself, or find themselves constantly analyzing it and hoping and wishing and trying to avoid failure, then I think they should go through this exercise. And it's a really fairly easy but fairly effective realization of like, okay, how serious are these fears? What would actually happen if the worst thing happens? And is there a way that I can actually fix it or make it the least worst possible? That's not a sentence, but you get my drift. So my really, really quick PSA today is stop being afraid of failing, because everybody does it. It's a natural part of life. And in my opinion, it's a good thing. It lets you know where you are. It's meritocracy. There is no, trophies for participation. It's seeing where you are and having the world say no. And then you go back to the lab and you figure it out and you work and you reanalyze and you do it again and you fail again, but you keep going back. And eventually, if you don't stop, you will make happen what you want to happen. I can promise you, because if you never stop, you have your whole life to do it. It's going to happen. So that's my 2 cents on fear of failure. Knock it off. You're fine. You're going to do great. So I hope you enjoyed today's show. Quick little conversation, quick little PSA. If you did enjoy it, then let me know by hitting like, hitting subscribe, and hitting the bell notification to be notified every time I release a new video. And I love to hear from you. Please leave a comment and let me know if you've ever had a fear of failure and what specifically it was revolved around. If you like today's episode, then you're probably also going to like this one right over here.